Okay. My name is Stephanie Pointer, and the psychologist or the theorist that I want to look at is that of Sigmund Freud. So, Sigmund Freud wasn't so much my favorite theorist, but I think that he was the one who, I mean, he really set the bar for other theorists to come behind. We know that Sigmund Freud is known as the father of psychology. I don't know if he was so much the father of psychology, but he was definitely the one who um, brought something regarding childhood and looking at psychoanalysis, which is a method for treating mental illness. So he thought that a lot of the aggression, um, he looked at aggression a lot. He looked at a lot of with aggression, and he looked at it from childhood, and he took a lot of his own experiences, and that's what he used to fuel his theories. Now that's what was so controversial about Freud. Freud hadn't so much did empirical research and looked at a lot of people. I think he looked at maybe like 5 or 6 people and made this whole theory that it was due to aggression from childhood, which was why people were behaving the way that they did. He also said that sex and just the sexual desire is what brought on aggression. And a lot of people disagree with that. I believe Freud was from Austria. And I don't know if it was so much culturally, but at that time, using sex or sexual desire to be a reason as to why we have certain, ways that we behave was not, it was just it was too taboo. But when we look at humanity today, I know that I did an integrative paper on human sexuality, and even if I look at my own life and look at people around me, I believe that yeah, a lot of our behaviors, even if we work a lot, or if we find ourselves perhaps in a depression or an anxious mode, a lot of times it may be due to sexual energy. That aggression that a lot of men have could be due, I don't know, if maybe not so much pent up sexual energy, but it's all of that, and there's a way that it has to come out in humans. Um, One thing that I do believe with Freud, though, is that he just didn't look at enough people, because that's not the reason for everyone. And he also says that a lot of what we do or who we are stems from childhood. While I agree with that, I don't believe that that's the only reason why we behave the way that we do. Once we understand who we are, which is what other theorists came behind to say. When you reach a certain level of enlightenment, if you will, you're able to control those things better. And Freud acted as if humans could not control those things, as if not so much that we were robotic, but that it was just in us to do, no matter how good or how bad that we are. Okay, and also another thing that Freud looked at was the unconscious mind. And so that's what was his goal of psychoanalysis, was to get into those places that we didn't want to face. He believed that every human had a place that they did not face unless there were certain certain questions that were being asked. And if I'm not mistaken, Freud wasn't so much about talk therapy in the sense of asking a lot of questions as much as getting a person to explore their own mind just through them talking, not so much him doing all the talking, which that gets more into counseling methods. But a lot of people disagree with that theory, with everything being rooted to childhood, or there being a conscious mind and being something that a person is not revealing. Other theorists thought that things were revealed. The way that we behave could be more situational, not just because of something that we haven't tapped into. But I like Freud because he was controversial, and I think that not just so much that he was controversial. I think that there's a lot of truth to what he's saying. I think that especially living through my own experiences, I believe that the theory makes sense. There is a place in our minds that we don't want to tap into. And sometimes we have to talk through it. I do believe in asking certain questions to help people get there. But I believe in psychoanalysis. I believe that once you can analyze how you think and why you think, then that can be put on the path to healing. But obviously, more research has to be done, which is why other people came well behind them. There you go.